Good evening and welcome to Las Vegas. We're here at the 2021 Three-Wall Ball World Outdoor Championships. We have a special event going on called King of the Courts. We have four high-quality players. They either played on the men's professional tour or on the classic professional racquetball tour. They're going to play 3 games, so each player will play with one partner, and then they'll switch. So we'll have 3 games total to determine the king of the courts. Up now we have Eric Fernandez. He is playing with Mike Bayham in the blue hat. That was Todd O'Neill with the skip. He's playing with Jeff Osberg in the white hat and the Pro Kinnick shirt. Half out.
Concept here. They are what they're going to do is they're going to play 1 game to 15 with each partner, and then total points is going to be the winner. And from what I understand, there's some side betting going on. There's some stakes here about whether or not who's going to finish first, or rather who's not going to finish last.
There you go.
They're all 4 Southern California guys.
Absolutely.
3 of them, I believe, are Marina Park, Orange County area.
Mm-hmm.
And then Todd O'Neill here, the lefty in the back, has recently moved to San Diego, and he's been playing with the San Diego crew at the legendary PPA, which I can't remember what it stands for, the PPA club that Brumfeld plays at. Pacific Paddleball.
Pacific Paddle,
yeah.
I think that's right.
Yeah, I think that's right. We need our paddleball experts up here to guide us. It's tough.
Yep. Jeff Osberg, the gentleman in the white hat and the Pro Kinnick shirt, is one of the directors of the Outdoor Nationals that happened earlier this year in Marina Park. And he will frequently play with Eric Fernandez and is very familiar with playing with and against Mike Bayham as well.
Yeah, the player at the biggest disadvantage here is Mr. O'Neill. Now, Todd played on the tour regularly for a better part of a decade. He's won amateur national championships. He's represented the USA in international competitions. Just a very accomplished player, a very good doubles player throughout his career. But he's here to kind of learn about outdoor, and it's over the top. But as we've seen with a lot of these indoor specialists, even if they're retired vets like Todd O'Neill, they have the racket skills and they have kind of the acumen on the court to be able to make adjustments and make the right shots. We'll be able to see that firsthand here.
Absolutely.
With some of the play for Mr. O'Neill. That's tough.
A pinch is still a pinch. Down the line, still very effective.
Mm-hmm. That's a nice shot. That was well executed. So the challenge for these guys is they are playing. For our viewers at home, you can see the long shadows. They're playing we're getting kind of towards dusk here, and to be completely honest, it is really hard to see the balls on this court once the shadows start coming into play. Okay, that's a nice shot. Nice little 3-shot routine there. We don't have a ref, so we don't entirely know what the score is unless we hear it from the players. Find a replay there. Nope, flies it. In the back left here in the black ace white hat. As JT, you mentioned, he's been the director of the Outdoor Nationals event. He's done that with Jesus Ustaraz for, I think he's done it for 10 or 12 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They have, I've spoken with Jeff at length about kind of the coordination activities they go through and the separation of duties and what they've been going through with the tournament for the last few years. They had to cancel it in 2020 thanks to COVID, but they were back in July.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did have a few unofficial warm-up events, so where they got people back together. Because people had still been playing outdoor the whole time. You just couldn't have spectators of any sort. And
there you go. Good hands. Yep. Yeah, that's the nice thing is Jeff and Jesus, they run some really tough. They run really nice shootouts. They run a Valentine's shootout in February. They run a warm-up shootout. I believe it happens in the end of May or early June to kind of get people invited to play at the Marina Park courts before the big outdoor nationals. And these shootouts get essentially the same quality draw in terms of talent as the outdoor nationals tournament itself.
That it does.
Pretty much everybody who's in the Southern California area will play these. They'll get guys coming in from Vegas and from Arizona since it's basically drivable.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, by and large, a good portion of who comes to outdoor nationals. So imagine having a national quality event shootout just one Saturday afternoon at Marina Park. Must be nice.
That it is. And if you'd like to watch any of the videos from those matches, you can go find those on Daily Racquetball rather than on the LPRT channel. Although this year's event did take place and was broadcast by the LPRT.
Michelle Stapleton, please report to the desk. We have a match for you to ref. Thank you.
I thought we had a timeout there, but I guess not.
So it looks like they're going to replay that. Osberg up to serve.
Oh, that's a tough shot.
Yep.
Off the court, buries a backhand pinch. Can't beat that.
Bayham sails that one. Another point for Osberg O'Neill.
Oh, that's a nice shot. Yeah, Neil's learning. He's learning some defensive outdoor shots. That's another one right there, and it pays off.
There you go.
Pays off. Good ball there. I think Mike just got off the court. He literally walked from one match to this. The nature of this tournament, a lot of players enter 3, sometimes 4 matches, splitting between 1 wall and 3 wall, and especially if they're good and they're making the back end of these events. Saturday afternoon is just back to back to back. It sailed it. Certainly, you can say that for the likes of say like Daniel De La Rosa or his wife Michelle. Mm-hmm. Who I think are each in the finals of 3 events.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's gonna
be a hard day.
They're gonna definitely use some ibuprofen at the end of Sunday afternoon. I noticed right here off to our right off the court is Outdoor Hall of Famer Martha McDonald. She just got off the court. I think she won her semis mixed open match. She's playing with her son.
Mm-hmm.
Quite impressive to have a mother-son team competing at a high level in the sport. That's pretty amazing.
It is. Yep, they won the division they were in at Outdoor Nationals as well. They were the first match I broadcast on Sunday morning there.
Oh, that's cool.
Great pair of players.
That's pretty cool. Begs the question, what would you say is the greatest mother-son racquetball playing combo of all time? Why don't you think on that, and I'll pull up my notes, and I'll give you some nominees.
Okay. Mike Bayham down to serve. O'Neill drives it right back down the line. Looked in from here.
All right. Here's your nominees. Martha and Jack McDonald. Maybe Martha and Chris McDonald. She has 2 playing sons. Sharon and Jack Huzek. Karen and Jake Bredenbeck. Janet Tyler and Garrett Tyler. Or, this might be your winner, Goldie and Marty Hogan. What do you think?
It's going to be hard to vote against Hogan.
It's going to be hard to vote against Hogan, but something tells me that if you put maybe Jack and Martha McDonald on the court with Marty and Goldie, it might be closer than you might think. I like this game. So speaking of this game, and speaking of the fact we just talked about the De La Rosas, I got another good one for you.
Okay.
Best husband-wife team of all time.
Either Jack and Christy or Michelle and Daniel. And I think if they keep playing, it's going to lean more and more to Michelle and Daniel.
All right, all right, here's some nominees for you. Now, unfortunately, my nominee list has some husband-wife pairs that subsequently divorced, but we'll still count them for the purposes of this little game. But your nominees are Jack and Christy Huzek, Kane Wazelenchuk and Kim Russell, Sudsy Monchik and Veronica Sotomayor, Daniel and Michelle, Steve Trent and Karen Walton. That's a blast from the past. If you didn't know and play in the 70s, you probably don't know who they are. Dan and Doreen Fowler, who were both touring pros at the same time. Charlie Pratt and Cecilia Orozco. Chris Wachtel and Carrie Stoffergen. That's pretty tough. If anyone ever saw Chris Wachtel play, he could put a charge into the ball. Jeff Conine and Cindy Doyle.
There you go.
And your last nominee, Mauricio Zelada and Maciel Rivera, who are at the Formula Flow booth to our direct back as we speak. Actually, I take that back. Maciel's warming up on the court next to us.
She snuck on.
So those are some pretty cool husband-wife teams, and I've got another 10 in the honorable mention category.
Now, other than Michelle and Daniel, how many of them actually played together in organized events?
That's a tougher one. You know, there just wasn't mixed events for many years, at least not on the pro level. That's something I really like as we talk through and the game 1 is finished, where I have to go back down and get a score. So in this format, total points wins. So our tournament director, Peg Eanes, coming in to kind of control things. So what we're about to see is a small break, and we might take a commercial break as we do it. And then the teams are going to reformulate and play game 2.
Sounds good. We will head to a commercial, pay some sponsors, and be right back.
I'll go down and get the score.
I'm Carla Munoz and I play with passion.
I play to be a role model for the kids.
I play for the adrenaline.
I play for the love of the game.
All right, and we're about to get started with our second game here in the King of the Courts. I think they're lobbing for partners, or lobbing for first serve, I guess. So our score was 15-10. So 2 of our players have 15, 2 of our players have 10.
So all I know is that Todd O'Neill is on the losing end. That's what I got when I ran down there.
Okay. So they're being down by a 5-point deficit with 2 games to go. What what does he need to change to
Well,
make sure he comes out on top?
I think first of all he needs to hit the front wall.
That is, I'm told the first rule of outdoor is get it in.
Oh, that's a tough serve. Just caught the line. I think we need a word for when you whack the side wall right there. We've been talking about it on all weekend. We need a term for it. What do you think? I'm thinking it's, when you serve it over there and it comes out the door.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe something with the related to the door, like you've hit the door frame. What do you think?
I think that'd be a good.
He framed it.
He framed it. There you go. Well, not quite. That might already have a different connotation.
So I had another terminology one for you. So I once chatted with Martha and Greg McDonald, and Martha said that Greg had invented a critical key shot on their home courts in Gainesville, where if you have like a setup in the front court and you kind of you slam it down and try to bounce it over your opponent's head.
Mm-hmm.
And she called it the big slam. I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But I heard someone else here who calls it a spike. So what do you think?
I have some background in volleyball, and that stroke is definitely more like a spike in volleyball.
I think I like spike. Oh, that was a nice shot right there. Just threaded the needle. We instructed the players to call out the score a little better. I just heard that one, even through the headphones. So they're up 6-0. Oh, that's a tough shot. You got that? Wow. Go, Jeff.
Okay.
7-0. This game's getting away from O'Neill and Mr. Bam. Yeah, and he flies that one. I think they need a timeout. Nope. Do you? Is it gauche to call timeout in King of the Court? I don't know.
Yep. I don't know. In
oh, right off the frame.
Yep.
Good leave.
In indoor, we would call this kind of game usually an Ironman, but we'd play it with 3 players. So a cutthroat, and then you just keep playing until one against 2 rather than 2-on-2. And in that, it's definitely gauche to call a timeout.
Yeah, that's true. Not a lot of people calling timeouts in club games. Yeah, good leave.
We have 3 empty courts and no players. If you have a 5:30 match, please come check in. There is a very good possibility to get you on the court early. Thank you.
Oh, that might have been out. I think I think maybe in his younger years, Todd could have gotten that ball.
Mm-hmm.
I went down before the match, and I'm saying this essentially for the benefit of Todd, if he ever bothered to go back and listen to this broadcast. So I asked him for some color.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I need some stories. I need some stuff on you. And well, I don't even want to tell you where the story occurred, let alone the details of the story. And we are a PG feed, I'm assuming.
Oh yes.
0 serves 8. Let's just say that sometimes when these guys are in their 20s and they're qualifying for major international tournaments, they had some fun.
Okay.
When they were out on the tournament, which is only fair, because when you go and represent the U.S. at an international event, say like the Pan Am Games or Worlds or whatever, I mean, you're in country for 8 or 9 days. It's a grind of a tournament. They play round robins for 3 or 4 days, then they get a break, and then they play a single elimination knockout, which is usually a match per day. And so, yeah, it's a big commitment. And back in the old days, so when Todd was qualifying for the national team, we're talking like the mid-'90s, racquetball was a lot different than it was now. Nowadays, most of the top players are not American. In the international competitions, you got a lot of dominance from Mexico and more these days from Bolivian players. But back then, it was Americans, and maybe you'd have a Canadian team that would challenge them, and the Mexican teams were just starting to play. So the last time that Todd played in the Worlds, he was playing with the Adam Karp, and they were in Buenos Aires, and they ended up playing in the final. I believe, if he told the story correctly, they played a very young Alvaro Beltran playing with a similarly young Javier Moreno. The cool thing about that is that Moreno and Beltran together won like a dozen Mexican national tournaments together. They were a fantastic team. In fact, Javier Moreno holds the record for the most number of international men's doubles titles still to this day. Meanwhile, Beltran immediately switches partners, goes to team up with Daniel, and he's won another 10 with Daniel. And Mexican national doubles is next weekend. And I know for a fact that Daniel and Alvaro are committed, and they're going to try to defend or recapture a doubles title.
That will definitely be a good set of matches to see as well.
Oh yeah, Mexican nationals. They've split it up this year where they had adult singles and doubles separately. Normally they have them. Together. But I love that tournament. There's just so many good quality players that are in Mexico and that don't always travel to play either the IRT or the LPRT. And you see these players, and they're routinely getting upsets over top 10 professional players. That's a good shot. Good cover right there. There we go. I think
sounds like 8-3.
I heard 8-3.
Over.
Oh. Touchdown. Oh, and he calls for the replay. Oh, I don't know about that. Well, no ref. It's a friendly game.
It's a friendly game.
It's a friendly
Absolutely.
game.
Now there's a saying that the ball doesn't lie, so if you ask for a replay and they put it in the floor, you probably deserved it. But
Yeah, a lot of karma in this game. Oh, great pass down the middle. Excellent outdoor shot.
Three serving 9. Bam up to serve.
Yeah, can't do that. Todd's at it. You can't do that when you play front to back. You can do that if you're playing side to side, where Todd can step in and try to cut that off. But they really have to make sure that they get a defensive return when you hit that kind of serve. We've been talking a lot about tactics, especially since a lot of our viewers are indoor only, and you're not really. Oop! I think that caught the line. That was close. That a line judge might get a different call there. Yeah, we talk a lot about tactics, and I've been talking with some of the top players about why they choose to play side by side versus front to back, and a lot of times it is because they're anticipating certain types of shots from their opponents. So if they got an opponent that they know is going to be playing bottom board and going for a lot of pinches, they'll play side to side where both of the players are up by the service box, so they can just step in and try to counter those shots. If they are playing, for example, more of like a one-wall specialist plays a lot more conservatively generally. This is a generalization, but like when you watch Robert Soster play, he hits a lot of balls that are kind of up the middle, and it's kind of what I call like a show-me shot in outdoor, where he's hitting it, and it's coming to you in the middle of the court, kind of shoulder high, and it's like, well, show me what you got. If you can beat me on that shot, then more power to you. And so when you play those kind of balls a lot, you can play front to back, and then your back guy kind of plays defense.
And doesn't have to
while your front
scamper to the back.
Yeah, and
you
while
can start from the back.
Right, and while your front guy plays, covers the pinches if they do come. Very much like a long wall. Like if you've played long wall outdoor, very much a long wall tactic. Look how far he had to run to cover that.
Yep.
Right, and that's because they're playing front to back. Long wall, coincidentally, not that I'm belaboring the obvious here, but we are kind of chatting up and talking to a lot of people that may not know. Oh, it's over the top. So there's different courts, different kinds of courts in outdoor. You have at the basic, you have one wall courts which have 0 sidewalls. Then you have what we call 3-wall short wall courts. The longest of which is essentially the config that we have here, which is a half height or a half length 3-wall. But a lot of times you will see a 3-wall court where the sidewalls are shorter than what you see here. In fact, I've heard of courts. There's some courts in Hawaii where the sidewalls are literally like a foot or 2.
Yeah.
So if
just enough to give you a pinch.
You can if you can hit that pinch, more power to you. But for the most part, they play essentially like one wall courts. Mm-hmm. Then you have what are called long wall courts, and these are courts where the entire length of the court you have so if a racquetball court is 40 feet long, you're going to have a long wall that's 40 feet long. Mm-hmm. And you see a lot of these courts in places like northern Florida, in Detroit, in Ohio. They are favored. They're favored by handball players because handball likes to have handball. You see a lot of handball in like New York City on one-wall courts, and a lot of our attendees here are playing one-wall handball. But you also see a lot of handball guys, and the outdoor. And there's an outdoor long wall championship in Ohio that plays on these long wall courts. And then, believe it or not, there's even 4-wall outdoor courts. Mm-hmm. There's not too many of these that I've heard of, but I know that there's some in North Florida at Cape Canaveral. Mm-hmm. I believe there's some in Arizona.
Yep. There used to be one in Georgia. The Parks Department ended up taking it down because it didn't see a lot of use.
Yeah.
The problem with those is things blow in and don't get out.
That was our game right there. We're telling stories about the random 4-wall courts, and we missed the end of the game.
All right, we will be back in just a moment.
Played the first game. Well, no, there's our answer.
Okay. So it's going to be O'Neill and Fernandez versus Osberg and Bayham.
So right now, Todd O'Neill is low man. He scored 10 the first game and 4 the second. So he really needs a win to keep himself out of last place. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, I think, if I'm correct, I believe Jeff is in first place. Yes. No. Who's in first place? Who's won 2? Fernandez? I think
Fernandez has.
Yeah, Fernandez in first place. So we could get to a situation where you have 3 teams go 2-1 and one guy go 0-3, and then they'll have to come down to points. So if Fernandez and O'Neill lose, this will come down to total points.
Right. 0 serving 2. Osberg up to serve.
Tough. Way to bury that ball. So for so you mentioned that 3 of these 4 players play regularly at the Marina Park courts, right?
That's right.
So for those out there, we just kind of colloquially throw that out there. So where are those courts? What do they like, and what are they used for?
Okay. So at Marina Park we have 8 3-wall courts and 2 1-wall courts that don't always see play at the same time of day. They are a little bit taller than this. They're 23 feet tall. They are some of the widest courts that I'm aware of at 22 feet and 43 feet long. So they're some big courts. The sidewalls do come back to the short line, very similar to this. I think these were sort of modeled on those. And so we have tournaments there every month or two for some reason or another. And the Outdoor Nationals is there. That's in Huntington Beach, California. We're about 1.5 miles from the ocean at that park. It's a good park to bring friends and family to sit around and watch. Plenty of space to do that. Very similar atmosphere to what we have here, with different groups having tents and things like that.
That's cool. That ball was nearly launched onto the street. We're not on the strip, or the Strat is on the strip. I guess is on the other side of the Strat from where we're sitting.
Southeast of us, I guess, mostly.
Yeah.
It's the right street. It's just the wrong part of the street. So Las Vegas Boulevard is where we are. That one's a skip. Todd called that on himself. Good job.
So speaking of the Marina Park courts, these are modeled somewhat. When I talked to, I once asked Coulter about the construction theory and whatnot, and he said that when they first built these, one of the years that they built these, they made them the same dimensions as Marina Park, where they were essentially the huge size, so 23 by 46 or whatever they are.
Right.
They can't do much on the height, though. They tried to make them taller one year, and, it is windy. And what Coulter described was essentially that these courts serve as a sail, and the wind will take them if you make them too tall. So this is the 12th iteration of this event, and they've definitely done some experiment, some trial and error. And what they've settled on is to try to make these courts, and you can tell from home, they're basically standard size racquetball courts, at least on the footprint. So 20 feet wide, 40 feet long. It looks like it's hard to tell because of the camera angle, but it looks like they're longer. Like where he's standing is right at the short line. But they are, as my understanding is, they are a 40 by 20 footprint. And it's nice because what you'll see the Marina Park players who play on these big, huge courts with a tall front wall. They have to make an adjustment, right?
Right.
The Florida players who play a lot of either one wall in the northern part or play short, like 3-wall, really short wall and small courts at places like Tropical Park or at the Cathedral, places like that. They have to make an adjustment when they come here too. So this is the great equalizer.
Absolutely. And definitely the mere fact that the walls are wood, not concrete.
Yes.
Not panel like you'd see indoors. Yeah. So everybody's got a little learning to do every time because they really don't have an opportunity to play on something like this any other time.
Yeah. Oh, that's in.
That's out.
So fun fact for those for those at the home who see the small gash in the wall on the front, have we told them what happened there?
No, that was just a great shot.
Yeah, that was Daniel De La Rosa just pounding it, and he put a hole halfway through the panel. Now, what happened was that you went to adjust a camera on the box at the top, and we brought in a forklift, and let's just say the forklift operator got a little too close. Luckily, that really not as I don't think it's really in play. And even if somebody did hit it, I don't think they play court hinders here.
No, I've seen a couple of people hit near it, and it hasn't come off funny. And if it did come off funny, I think most of our referees would be comfortable allowing a replay. I don't know that they would call it by themselves.
It's a great rally. There you go. And the indoor guy buries it in the pinch. There you go. Todd O'Neill's the finisher. Good get. All right, Todd's hitting some good pulsating shots here. He does not want to finish in last place.
Yep.
A lot of money riding on this. We're talking tens and tens of dollars of bragging rights and possible bar tab action later night.
Bam tries to be a little tricky, doesn't quite get it to the front wall. Tries again.
I think he said it was 5-4, but I could be wrong. 5-1.
5-1.
I heard wrong. Oh. Hit the frame.
Yep.
Hit the door frame. See, it's catchy.
That's catchy.
Hit the door frame. I'm going to work on this. I'm going to work on this with all the outdoor guys. What do you think? Think they'll listen to me? No.
I think you might have some influence, but it may take some time.
Oh, good serve.
Nice serve.
Oh, that's a tough serve. You think I have influence with the outdoor guys? No. No.
Well, if they knew what I know about what you're doing for outdoor, you would. All right, Bayham up to serve.
1-6. Thank you, sir. All right, so trying to do some quick king of the court calculations here. So it's with Todd already scoring 6 points and having gotten 4 in the last one, he's in a decent position to stay out of last place. Oh, that saved that. Oh, that's what he was going for. It wasn't a bad idea. Just overcooked it a little bit.
So I'd definitely like to thank all of the sponsors for making this entire event happen, including the King of the Courts that we have going on right now. Primary sponsor is KMW Gutterman, followed by Age Solutions, Inc. Soda Man and Coffee Girl have made great contributions throughout the year, and as well as providing machines where you can get Gatorade and drinks to stay hydrated, which is incredibly important out here in the desert. Team Root, Ahern Rentals has provided the lights and the generators that we're using to keep everything going.
Smart shot. For those of you at home, if you didn't know, KWM Gutterman, that's Keith Miner, who's playing in this event. He's a very good, very top-ranked age group player. He might be I believe he's in the 50 doubles final. AGE Solutions is Andy Gomer. He's a Northern Virginia guy, so close to my part of town. He's become kind of a quiet benefactor of tournaments lately. You know, he's been, but it's nice being in the same location as where. Both the Pro Tour commissioners currently live in the Northern Virginia, Washington, D.C. area, and there's a lot of companies there, and there's a lot of racquetball fans there. So that's we're glad to have him more and more as a big sponsor. Team Root, of course, is the amazing Randy Root, Kansas City guy, a big fan of outdoor. He is one of the lead participants or lead organizers of the Kansas City Outdoor Facebook group. This is kind of and I like this. I mentioned this because it's a good model for how communities can help organize. There's 2 or 3 facilities in and around Kansas City, and they use the Facebook group almost like most of us would use a text group or an email group, where they announce, hey, let's play at the Mission at 10:30, and everybody will show up there and play at 10:30, and they'll have good matches. And on top of that, Randy will sponsor players to come in and try outdoor. You know, he'll bring in pros and have them play with the group, and which has got to be a really special treat for those players.
Absolutely. You know, some of the players he's had back in the past are Ronda Rasic and Sudzi Monchik, Paola, Jessica Perea. It's not every day you get to play with players of those caliber, especially on your home courts.
Yeah, no, that's really neat. So kudos to Randy. In addition to all the support he does for, you know, sponsoring a major slam for the LPRT and everything else he does for the sport. Oops, yep, a little mishit there. Sent that ball 2 courts over. So this time of night, you guys can see at home the almost the whole court now is. Oh, that's still in. That's still in. See, that's the spike. That was the spike, or the big slam, or something.
Not quite as spiky as I normally see it, but definitely his intent.
Yeah.
Seven serving 4, and that is not a helicopter coming up behind us. That is actually the generators. We're starting to get dark enough that we have to turn on the lights.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a tough time to play on these courts. You know, you do the best you can with the lights, you know, but if you put lights down and low in front of the players, they're not going to be able to see the ball. So they kind of have to you have to backlight, or the courts are backlit. And you can see from the camera angle, there's the courts, then there's a walking space, then there's bleachers, then there's a broadcast booth, and so the lights are behind us, so they're way behind us. You know, at a court at home, there'd be a fence about 2 feet past the end of that court, and you could stick the lights right there, and it does a better job of lighting. But just one of the considerations that make these courts kind of challenging to play sometimes. Flies it. Some uncharacteristic miss from Mr. Osberg.
It was a great serve, except for the distance. It was exactly where it needed to be, right between his 2 opponents.
Todd O'Neill, not happy that he let that ball go. Yeah, gets a free point there. Let's see if we can hear a score now. We're getting down to crunch time here. Tough. So I think your stakes here, if memory serves, if Fitzgerald or Fitzsimmons, Fitzgerald, short serve. All right, if Fernandez and O'Neill win this game, then Fernandez is your tournament winner. But who comes in last place? I think it's Bam.
Bam.
Yeah, I think he might be the short loser, the short point getter here, unless they can somehow dig out this win.
Yeah.
10 serving 9.
8 serving 9.
8 serving 9.
And if O'Neill keeps giving them free ones, Bam may dig his way out.
Was that a skip?
No, it looks like they're calling it good.
Calling it good. Yep, ball's loose. Pegane, our tournament director's on the case.
Service and Sastra, please report to Short court number 1, your match will start as soon as the current match is finished. Again,
We're having some hard times finding the ball.
Solis and Sastre. Short court 1.
All right, we've got our ball back.
Eight, 9.
We have a replay, 8-9.
Smart serve. Might have been going out. He hesitated, and that cost him.
Pair 9s. Ouch.
It lets him off the hook. The service error. All right, JT, your opinion. Should the Pro Tours go back to one serve?
Absolutely. I think that too much time is spent between serves, and especially between first and second serve.
Did you hear that, TJ?
It's also a much more interesting game when every serve is critical.
We have our Pro Tour Commissioner, TJ, listening to us. We think that the tour should go back to one serve. What do you think? Verdict? No comment. I got a no comment. We'll come back to this. Actually, you know what I? Oh yeah, that's a can of worms there. That was a nice little passing shot. You know what I would like to see? You know, there have been some complaints recently in the crowd about too much time being taken between serves, like what you just alluded to. You know, in the rule book, it's codified at 15 seconds, if I'm correct, right? Hey, what if you had a countdown clock? So you have a countdown clock, and the crowd can start counting it down. 5, 4, 3. You know, that way, if you've got somebody who's hitting the fifth around the wall ball while they prepare for their lob second serve, and they're on the 25-second mark. Nope, no more.
Yep. Well, I think a lot of that is
Out.
in the referee's control.
Yeah.
You know, the first part is call the score when the rally is over, and start your time from that. You know, don't let them get into that habit of hitting the ball around 5 times before you even call the score, and then they take 10 seconds. So.
So I'm getting some feedback from the crowd. This is a direct text message to me from an unnamed important sponsor of this tour. And this is on our incredibly important question as to what to call the shot that hits the frame. And my feedback is that it should be called a squinch shot. And the reasoning shall be is that you squinch and hope the ball doesn't take out an eye or worse. Okay, I like that. Thank you. Thank you to that suggestion. We'll remain nameless for now. Unless you text me back and tell me to give you credit. So earlier today, speaking of squinch shots, in the men's pro semis, so Bobby Horn was standing basically right where Todd O'Neill's standing, and a serve comes to Jason Geis, who's a lefty, standing about where Jeff Osberg is, right?
Yep.
And Jason takes a full, hard as he can shot to try to blast it down the line and get it past Bobby. Hits the frame, hits Bobby, and it starts bouncing back and forth between Bobby and the wall like a pinball. It was. He just acted like he knew it was coming. Like it would have startled the crap out of me.
Osberg not happy with his results, but he did make quite an effort to get up there to try to return that.
Yep. We've got to be getting tight here. Got to be getting close. We definitely miss having a mic'd up ref telling us what the heck is going on.
Absolutely.
10-12, I believe, is what I just heard. But I'm lip reading at this point. Nice. You know, that's a smart shot by Todd, and he just didn't quite get it deep enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you can see he's trying to play by the outdoor strategy for sure. Oh, unlucky. Well, lucky for the guys who just got the point.
Yep.
12s. All right, we were right. 10, 12, 12, 12. Ooh, that was close, but in. Jeff can't run it down.
Yep. Little miscommunication. Jeff expected his Mayhem to take that in the front court.
Jeff was halfway to the casino. Still couldn't get that ball. He was completely off our camera. We're starting to get some dignitaries lined up here. You know, a lot of the players have had a chance to go and rest a little bit, come back. You know, they're wearing their trucker hats, drink in hand. Oh, I think he missed it. Yeah, I think he missed it. It's 12-12 still.
Yep.
Ooh, I think that was out. Did they make the call?
Yep. Looks like they went with half out.
Always a good idea to point to the crowd and look for a call. Good cover. I don't like the Z serve, the Z shot there. I think they should have gone down the middle. Oh, went for too much. Yeah. Oh, Todd wants that one back. He knew he had that one. All right, we're getting to crunch time here. This might be your end of the game sequence. 12-13 maybe?
I think so.
Nice serve.
Nice soft hands by Fernandez, putting that away. Half out.
A lot of Pro Kennex on the court. Oh, he flies it a little bit. You know, Pro Kennex is a big sponsor of outdoor. They're very prevalent in the Southern California area these days. Very prevalent in Northern California. Like a lot of the NorCal guys that are here, and girls, I keep saying guys, but you know, I mean players, are sponsored by Pro Kennex. Mike Martinez is a huge fan of outdoor. He's been here all weekend. He's over here. He's sitting down over there right now.
Yep.
You know, pressing the flesh and selling rackets.
And he did have to rebuild his booth this morning. We had some major wind overnight that tore down 7 or 8 little pop-up tents and displays. So
yeah,
he does have that up and looking good again.
Good serve by Todd. Great get by Jeff. Look at that. All right, let's see here. 2 serves 3, 12 serves 13.
Yep. Bam gets greedy.
Missed with the spike. Goes out. Bailed him out. That one's out.
Out again.
All right. Can't take advantage. Can't close it out. I see a what looks like a very interesting Centurion CPRT match next to us, getting warming up.
Yep, that should be the Centurion Open. We've got Rocky Carson and Jerry Hall. Jason Geis, I believe.
Not sure who's playing with in that event.
Don't know who he's playing with. I don't see anybody, the fourth person out there yet.
I don't think he's with Micah in this event. I think he's with somebody else.
Now, that pairing would not be old enough to get to 100. So.
I'm old enough to get to 100. And with the amount of time we've spent on our feet at this weekend, I think I've taken a few years off my life. See, most people come to Vegas and they say they've partied so much that they've taken too many years off my life. My feet are killing me from all the playing and standing. Oh, tough. Good hands. That's a nice little pickup.
Yep.
Great serve. Actually, a really good get by Todd.
Yep.
Yeah. Doesn't pay off, though. Nice shot. Just nothing they could do about that.
Just like in indoor, you got to make the court as big as you can, and down the
Right
line
on the
is
line.
a good choice.
Oh, can't do it. Sight blocks him, and that's it. 15-13.
Right.
So I believe that means that Fernandez is your winner because he went 3-0. Yep.
There you go.
Hands up, self-claiming. Todd O'Neill does not finish last. That was his goal. Congratulations to all.
Absolutely. Thank you all very much for joining us. We will be back a little bit later this evening with a pro paddleball match. It'll be the finals with Daniel De La Rosa and Alvaro Beltran versus Emmett Coe and his partner. So be sure to tune in then. We will talk to you soon.